Back with Martin Biron. Time now for fantasy or reality. I'll make a statement, and Marty, you take a side. Let's start with the Oilers and the Avs. When they face off on Saturday night, McDavid will start the game 9 points back of McKinnon in the race for the Art Ross. By season's end, it will be McDavid who's got the most points of any players in the NHL this season. Fantasy or reality?
Reality, Gino, and I know that it's a lot to make up, the ground between McDavid and McKinnon. But McDavid has 3 more games to be played. If he plays all the games with the Oilers, he has 3 more games. In those 3 games, he could rack up 10 points, right? So I think McDavid will win the Art Ross. That's his trophy to lose right now, and he will catch McKinnon and obviously blow by Kucherov as well because he's still in the race.
All right, next up, Sheldon Keefe took some heat for having his top power play unit on the ice late in Thursday's win over the Flyers, despite having the big lead. Marty, Keefe broke the code, and the Flyers were right to be upset about it. Fantasy or reality?
That's fantasy. Listen, I get it. Like, you're up 6-1, but the Leafs were 1 for 19 on the power play at that time. They don't have Mitch Marner. You need practice time. You need to do it in games. And really, to be honest, like, did the Flyers decide not to score a shorthanded goal? They did later in the power play. Did they not put their best penalty killers on the ice? Why? Because you played the game. I get that there's a little bit of playmanship sometimes, but in that situation, I think that Keefe did the right thing by putting his top power play unit out there.
I just wish Tortorella was behind the bench because I would love to have seen his reaction. Next up, it's the Golden Knights. Despite being declared the winners of the trade deadline by many, they are not a lock to make the playoffs. Fantasy or reality?
This is a fantasy. I think the Vegas Golden Knights will make the playoffs. They need better goaltending right now. What was so strong early in the season with Adin Hill is not strong right now. They are missing Mark Stone. They're missing Alec Martinez. But the new acquisition will get going. They'll get into the rhythm, and Vegas will make the playoffs when it's all said and done.
All right, Kyle Dubas was a seller at the deadline, but his Pens are now only 5 points back of the second wildcard spot in the East. Here's the statement. Despite the push, we won't be seeing Sidney Crosby and the Pens in the playoffs. Marty, fantasy or reality?
Reality. The Pens are going to miss. And look, it has been a weird story of up and downs with the Pittsburgh Penguins this year. They did act as sellers, trading Jake Gensel, and now they're clawing their way back a little bit in there. There's so many teams between Pittsburgh and that second wildcard spot. I don't think Pittsburgh has the push in them to be able to get it done, and it will be another season, 2 in a row for Pittsburgh missing the postseason.
Here's a reality. The idea of the playoffs without Crosby again, that sucks. It's been Fantasy or Reality with Martin Biron.